Meet John. John's an average guy. He works hard, pays his taxes, and does his best to get ahead. John's not unlike you, or any American for that matter. And this is Carl. Carl represents John's FICO score. The average American has the following relationship with their FICO, and it doesn't matter whether their FICO's in good shape or not. The relationship is generally the same. You wake up while FICO sits on the sofa and watches TV all day. He glances up at you while you walk out that door to your 40-hour-a-week job. He waits for you to get home and asks you the usual question, which is, how much money did you make today? Because I've got to pay my partner, the bank, and I can't be late. You dutifully take your cash that you just spent 12 hours earning and you give it to FICO so he can in turn pay his partner, the bank. When you think about it, this is exactly what's happening every time you use FICO to buy a liability like a house, a car, a boat, or anything purchased on credit. It's no wonder that the average American retires $1.2 million in debt. In fact, even though Americans on average earn $1.8 to $2.5 million in their lifetime, it's still not enough to prevent most people from retiring in a deficit. And the culprit is your FICO's partnership with the bank. What we do is reverse the situation by partnering with your FICO on your behalf. Instead of you going to work every day to turn your money over to FICO, you send FICO to work every day, and when he comes home, he says, I just earned you $20,000 on our latest real estate deal, or here's the rent check for next month. No matter how the money comes in, isn't it better than you going out to work every day while FICO stays home and relaxes? So the question is, are you working for FICO, or is your FICO score working for you? Because if you're still working for FICO, contact us today and we'll show you how you can put FICO to work for you and create amazing passive profits.
For those of you that do want to stick around, I want to show you why this works. This is going to give you a lot more confidence in how money works and how we can turn what you have into more wealth than you can possibly imagine. So I want to show you this chart. This is one of my favorite charts when it talks about money and finance. If you see this little dot right here, this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been crazy, $5 billion worth of Bitcoin. There's that tiny little dot. That's what it's significant. That's the significance of all the Bitcoin in the world, that one little dot. This other fat dot right underneath it, that's all the silver in the world. Underneath it, here's the wealth of some of the richest people on the planet. There's Warren Buffett's wealth, there's Bill Gates' wealth, and there's Carlos Slim's wealth. Now watch this. This is where it gets magical. This is all the wealth of all the corporations, all the big corporations of the world. Now you see that all the Fed's balance sheet, and here's the coins and banknotes of all the U.S. coins and banknotes in the entire planet. So you can see here's all the Bitcoin, and here's the banknotes. Now this is where it starts to get crazy. There's real estate. There's all the gold in the world. There's all the narrow market money. Here's all the stock markets. Now what you're showing here is the worth of corporations are worth more than all the money in the world. In other words, they've inflated the value. There's actually more money in the worth of the business than there is money itself. So money has now changed its idea. Instead of the substance of trade, it has become the substance of an idea or of a potential worth. It's an idea. Money has become an idea. And you have to get this. So when people are saying, well, there's only so much money, no, it isn't. As long as there's ideas, there's more money. This is all the stock markets. This is all the broad money. This is all the global debt. Now watch this. I just showed you that there's all the money in the world, and here's all the debt in the world. We have more debt. We have about 10, 15 times more debt than we have money. Now here's the magic. The debt becomes the money because your servitude, your slavery to your debt becomes the payment for their wealth. So all these companies are based on the idea that you are enslaved, and we're not going to talk about slavery right now because that's a great subject, but your slavery to debt is what they build their wealth on. The idea that you're going to pay them back with your time and your life and your wages and your effort. Now it gets really cool. See that long line right there? That's called derivatives. Watch. Here's all the debt in the world. Remember how big Bitcoin was? It was like a tiny little square. This is called a derivative. $630 trillion there, and it keeps on going. A derivative, there's $1.2 quadrillion, and it goes on and on and on and on. A derivative is what happens when a bank takes your debt, when you borrow money from them, and then they sell it to another bank, or they invest in another company, and it becomes worth more on a book than it was ever in paper. So you take a $100,000 loan and they sell it. Just for simple math, they take a $100,000 loan and then sell it to another bank, who sells it to another bank, who sells it to another bank. On paper, it becomes $1 million. So what they want to do is they want to loan as much money as possible. That's why it's so easy to get into this business. That's why it's so easy for you to get money, is because your debt becomes wealth to them. So why shouldn't, instead of us using debt for slavery, let's use debt for freedom. Let's use other people's money the same way they're using money. Let's take it and use it to increase our bottom line. And some people are thinking, well, some people are actually thinking about money like you're taking it from a person, or you're stealing it from a bank, or if you don't pay it back, then you've done a really bad thing. It's not real, guys. I mean, if you do it wrong, if you do it illegally, it's real, because you're going to find yourself in jail. Don't do jail, but also find out what the game is that everybody else is playing. If you can see that many derivatives in comparison to this much money, then you know there's a game going on. Participate in the game. You start off small, a couple $1,000s, $500,000. You end up in $1 million home. You start driving a brand new car. You start participating in the wealth game. We can show you how to start participating. They want to help you participate, because your $1 million is $10 million to them. So do everything legal, do everything safe, but get in the game. There's a beautiful game to be played. And I'm playing at a really low level compared to the guys who are making $1 trillion, right? There's another game level. At the end of next year, I'm going to be at a new level, and and then the year after that, I'm going to be at another level. When they say that if you're paying taxes, then you need to hire a new accountant, because there's a new game up there, right? You make the $1 million a year. If you're still paying a 50% tax bracket, you got the wrong accountant and the wrong lawyers, because it's a different game at that level. So if you want to be up with the big guys, you got to learn how to play the big guy games. And this is one of those. I'm going to teach you guys how to get free from the debt, get free from bad debt, get free from bad credit, and let's start turning it into something good.